Credevate, che vi lasciassi tutta la sera da soli, eh? Credevate? Credevate. Fermo. Mi sarei voluto guardare un film, però ho detto no, dai, è stata una bella serata, visto che c'era sempre tanta gente, visto che è presto. Guardiamoci il video di Caddicarus e vediamo un po'. Eccoci. Se è caduto su Twitch, sì, non si può guardare video di Caddicarus su YouTube, mentre che poi c'è il copyright di mezzo. Questo video l'ho visto tante volte. Allora, l'ultimo video di Caddicarus si chiama, è quello su Crash Bash, è il mondo inumano del completamento di Crash Bash al 200%, uscito 8 giorni fa. Non l'ho ancora visto. Questa è la seconda live, sì, si è finito Crash 2, splatinato Crash 2. C'è il direct a mezzanotte, vabbè, a sicurezza si guarda però. A mezzanotte. Perché non l'hai detto su YouTube? Perché all'inizio non credevo, poi ho detto no, ma sì, dai. Ah, vedi, su YouTube c'è tutta un'altra leggerezza su YouTube, non c'è la... Sonia, non eri andata a letto? Quello sì, il museo, dai. Sì, c'è tutto un altro rilassamento su Twitch. Aspettiamo che arrivi un po' di gente, magari. Me lo guardi in 2x? No, lo guardo in normale. Dura 1 ora e 40, magari. Stavo per aprire forte, boh, meno male ho fatto la live qui. Mi sto per andare a dormire, poi arriva la dose di cocaina chiamata ZeroDx più che a dire esagerato. 250 non era male, lo so, però YouTube, le live di YouTube, siccome poi non le posso tagliare, perché se taglio le live di YouTube, YouTube mi leva la chat. Non si sa per quale motivo. Quindi per avere la chat lì disponibile su YouTube le live vanno lasciate così. Per questo faccio tutti i capitoli. È una rottura di coglione fare tutti i capitoli su YouTube, però vanno fatti. Quindi le live di YouTube sono un po' più... devono essere precise, devono essere argomenti precisi, non si deve mettere andare su YouTube, guardare cazzeggiare. Devono essere live un po' più, cioè un po' meno debordanti, diciamo così. Quindi Twitch per ora lo lasciamo per questo tipo di live un po' più alla cazzo, no? Tipo guardare un video, guardare un evento. YouTube sta migliorando le live, sì, meno male, anche la qualità è molto meglio rispetto già all'anno scorso. Le live di Crash 1 e CTR erano molto, come risoluzione, molto peggio, quindi meno male. Farai la reaction alla Gamescom? Sì, domani sera all'8 si guarda insieme alla Gamescom qui su Twitch. Intanto, se vi volete, vi abbonate. 270 spettatori, prima sì, numeri che su Twitch non si faranno mai. Bellissima copertina tagliata con scritto Rash Bash. No, è perché sì, non è tagliata. È perché il formato, vabbè, lascia stare, è in 16 noni poi. E stavo andando a giocare a Kingdom Hearts 3. Bene, boh, ancora. Comunque giorni fa mi sono abbonato su YouTube a livello plus e non mi è mai arrivato l'alert. Com'è possibile? Vabbè, grazie. Io, ti ringrazio. Aspetta, controllo se ti sei abbonato. Come si fa? Mi sembra tornare a casa, sì, no, infatti Twitch non lo voglio abbandonare in quel senso lì, cioè mai più, Twitch no, però di sicuro molte meno live, cioè tipo, non lo so, molte meno. Gli eventi qua su Twitch ha superato i 300 spettatori, sì, però dipende che eventi sono. Ah, quindi te dici con gli eventi su YouTube chissà quanti ne fai. Sì, però vabbè, i Game Award si guarderanno su YouTube, ma... la Gamescom dai non è un evento un po' di serie B, quindi non da serie B insomma fino a un certo punto, però non è come vabbè. Leo Baro mi sembra abbonato, vediamo, aspetta, controllo se sei abbonato, sì, sei abbonato, sì, 7 giorni fa, sei abbonato, non so perché non è uscito l'alert, però sei abbonato. Tipo uno showcase di Sony lo fai su YouTube, sì, showcase di Sony su YouTube. Poi i Game Award l'unico problema è che ci sono di mezzo le musiche, quindi vabbè, però sì. Sì. Via, ora fatemi un attimo. Stavo ribollendo prima. Mamma mia. Che peso quel cazzo di livello. Va bene. Noi qua siamo veri fan di Enrico. Su YouTube c'è tanta gente occasionale che segue live magari solo per gioco. Sì, vabbè, è giusto. Rimettiamo comandi. È giusto che cioè, su YouTube mi seguono più persone, ovvio. Su Twitch è solo i fan veri. Però è giusto che mi segua più gente su YouTube che possa magari diventare ancora più fan. E più che altro mi sono già accorto che YouTube ti permette di essere scoperto molto di più. Ogni volta che faccio una live su YouTube c'è sempre gente nuova. Ci sono sempre diversi iscritti nuovi. Su Twitch auguri. Twitch è veramente difficile. Ogni tanto arriva, però... Cioè, per dire, nell'ultimo mese, vediamo quanti iscritti ho fatto. Ho fatto 200 iscritti nell'ultimo mese, solo con le live, che sono andate bene anche rispetto. Quindi, cioè, capisci? Twitch 200 iscritti, il mio canale li fa in 6 mesi. Sei un trollino? Eccoti qua. Esatto. Buonasera. Ho paura solo per Metal Gear 2, arriva qualche coglione a spoilerare. Metal Gear 2 si fa su YouTube e sono convinto che regalerà delle sorprese. Secondo me Metal Gear Solid 2 saremo anche di più che con Crash. Vediamo, magari sbaglio. Invece con Uncharted 4 mi aspetto poca gente. Mi aspetto massimo 100 persone. Però lo voglio giocare a Uncharted 4. Uncharted 4, non Uncharted 2, ho detto Uncharted 2. Stavo girando per Twitch e ho visto che sei in live. Perché non l'hai detto? Perché ero su YouTube finora. E ora ho messo Twitch. Cosa posso annunciare domani? Non ne ho idea. Non lo so. Con Metal Gear 2 farai grandi cose. Sì. Via, si inizia? Si guarda un po' sto video? Tipo l'avvocato? L'avvocato, esatto. Mi sono apparso. Via, vediamoci Caddicarus. 1 ora e mezza, non so se ci si fa vederlo tutto, Bene. Agosto, bene con Monza. Ah, giusto. Devo mettere sottotitoli? Sappiamo l'inglese.
As good for you as it was for me.
Sì, aspetta. La pubblicità, guarda, lo dico ufficialmente. Allora, disattivo, ecco. Da questo momento in poi ho disattivato la pubblicità su Twitch. Mai più pubblicità. Se vedete pubblicità su Twitch vuol dire che loro la mandano lo stesso e probabilmente io non prendo niente. Disattivate pubblicità su Twitch, tanto non ne vale la pena. Ovviamente abbonatevi per supportare. No, comunque non la riattiverò mai più la pubblicità su Twitch, mai più. Tanto è veramente misera la percentuale che ti danno. Mi fai sentire tuo amico con questi gesti? Beh, certo. Buonasera Valevitis. Metti suoni per tutti. No, suoni per tutti no, scusa. Così diventa un canaio.
This is me. I'm dead. Uh-oh. And now that I'm dead, that means I'll never have to play Crash Bash ever again. What? That's what this video's about? I wrote it? Well, I guess that's what I'm being forced to play then. Do you have anything in your life that was ruined by new information? Your lovely clean eyelashes? Oops, turns out they're swarming with mites all the time. Those tasty chicken nuggets? Oops, they're beaks. Your parents? Oops, not yours, you're adopted.
Mi sono già perso.
Bear in the big blue house? Just a regular sized sweaty guy. Roger Moore? Dead. And now I have another one for you. Crash Bash? Oops, not actually a good game, you were lied to.
Perché ha detto che Crash Bash non è un bel gioco, quindi non si può dire questa cosa. Okay.
In fairness, Crash Bash is
Si può dire
In
che-
fairness, Crash Bash is fine under the correct circumstances, but I would go as far as to say that it is only fine. So long as you've got 2 or more friends to play with and you cut off your own air supply for 3 minutes, it's an above-average multiplayer party game featuring all of your best friends. Rash, Croak, Tinnitus, Dingy, Cholera, Brian, Cog, and Rigid. You can call it a Mario Party clone, but I call it a Mario Party friend with benefit. There's no commitment to a bigger idea, you just pick a point and get to it. It's a quick burst of excitement without any guilt attached, and then it's never spoken about until you're feeling up for it again next week. My point is, Crash Bash isn't Mario Party, which is good for it. There isn't any board game you've got to worry about, all of the mini-games are action-based, and it doesn't take much explanation for you to jump in. You should give this a try if Mario Party isn't your thing, and you're looking for something with a little more... It isn't a party, it's a bash. A crash bash. A crash bash, wallop, boom, ting, bang, ding-a-ling, a what, punch, stomp, sit, piss. Pick one of the 28 minigames and have at it. When you're in the mood for it, it's a decent time. When
Ciao, vedi, questo video è fantastico, cose sono Pollasso, ho cambiato nome, ok.
you have friends to play with.
However,
Everything I just told you comes with a catch. Okay, a lot of catches. Catch Bandicoot. If you picked this game up back in the year 2000, fresh off
No,
of the...
aspetta.
You're in the mood for it, it's a decent time when you have friends to play with.
Grazie, ste live.
however,
Everything I just told you comes with a catch. Okay, a lot of catches. Catch Bandicoot. If you picked this game up back in the year 2000, fresh off of the beige shelf that should be white, and expected to stick it in your Sony lid to get right into the action, you'd be quite disappointed to see that out of all 28 minigames, only 16 are available to you, which you'd think at least is a nice majority, but the truth is that it's actually 4. 4 types of minigames with 4 very slight variations on each that barely constitutes them being counted as a separate game. Do you not want to throw boxes at other players in the jungle? Then maybe you prefer a sewer, but with power-ups. Not very slight, but the truth is that it's actually 4. Which you'd think at least is a nice majority, but the truth is that it's actually 4. 4 types of minigames with 4 very
No, poi ce ne sono altri 2.
slight variations on each that barely constitutes them being counted as a separate game. Do you not want to throw boxes at other players in the jungle? Then maybe you prefer a sewer, but with power-ups, or a slippy...
In che anno è uscito Cash Bash? 2000. Si è capito cosa è successo qualche mese fa a Caddicarus con la depressione. Boh, non ha più detto nulla. Boh. Sì, so che prendeva dei farmaci, non ha più detto nulla. Sta dicendo quelle sbloccate all'inizio, giusto?
The ice floor with a penguin that can attack you, or the floor can now be broken. In space. These aren't new minigames, and instead closer to level options and variables you should be able to toggle on and off or swap
No, non sono questi, non sono
between
questi.
in the pause menu. So how do you unlock the other 12 games? Well, unlike
Scusate, mi distraggo, mi
in the
distraggo.
closer to now be
Scusate,
broken.
non avvolgo più.
In space. These aren't new minigames, and instead closer to level options and variables you should be able to toggle on and off or swap between in the pause menu. So how do you unlock the other 12 games? Well, unlike many other multiplayer party games, Crash Bash features a single-player adventure mode for the lonely disappointments to their parents, or 2-player adventure if you have a sibling they didn't flush. In order for you to unlock all 28 minigames for any crashing and or bashing you may be doing in the future, you have no choice but have to go through this adventure mode. And even though that's a bit stupid and annoying for a multiplayer party game, this wouldn't and shouldn't be the end of the world. However, playing the adventure mode of Crash Bash is one of the worst things I think I've ever done in my life. Not just in video games, not just on the PS1, not just in Cash Banuka, in my entire sordid life. Not just for the adventure mode itself being boring and repetitive, but for all the additional horrific...
Io non ho mai finito.
things it demands of you in order to unlock the rest of the minigames. Finishing the adventure mode in Crash Bash is akin to running yourself over. And yes, I said finishing, not completing. That's another message.
Nemmeno io. Esiste qualcuno? Sì, però boh. Cash Bash con gli abbonati? No. Perché non finisci? No. A parte dovrei recuperare il vecchio salvataggio di 24 anni fa, però. Cash Bash bilanciato a culo è rotto. Non è... Cioè, gli ultimi livelli sono fattibili. Gioco molto sbilanciato. Io ho fatto solo la prima walkthrough. Poi se lo giochi su PS3 non va malissimo. Il mio record è 160 completamente. Giocare in single player da bestemmia, sì.
entirely, but considering how much
Non so
bullshit
neanche
you
dove
have to
sono
go through
arrivato.
to unlock every available minigame, it's close enough to completion that it might as well be. A few years ago, I even streamed myself doing it, and it went really well. I got the power.
Scusa, mi perdo pezzi.
Finishing the adventure mode in Crash Bash
Sì,
is akin to
buonanotte.
running yourself over. And yes,
Bisogna
I said
interrompere.
finishing, not completing. That's another mess entirely. But considering how much bullshit you have to go through to unlock every available minigame, it's close enough to completion that it might as well be. A few years ago, I even streamed myself doing it, and it went really well. I got the power up here that sets everyone on fire. That's fun. Wait for it. That is Cortex. Oh, one more kick, one more kick. No! Oh, can you you bloody ill-fitting wristwatch. Okay, bumpy, very bumpy. I'm out. Oh shit, I'm gone. Bye, everybody. I jumped over it. Ah! Got it, no! Do what you want, because a pirate is free. You are an anus. All you have to do is look up Crash Bash speedrun attempts on YouTube and
Non
you'll
ci fai Bugs Bunny su Twitch, si potrebbe fare su YouTube fra un po', poi si vede. PS1 la prova di tanto? No.
see exactly how bad it is. There's a reason that most of the speedrun world records have differences between each other, not by milliseconds or seconds, but by minutes. By the way, don't be mistaken. I'm the Cash Banuka Bingo Birthday Big Bang Boil boy. I know that there are cheat codes in this game to unlock everything right off the bat. But Uno, they only work on the European release, and 2, they only work on the original Black Label European release, not the Greatest Hits Platinum release, which I have here.
Ah, nella versione Platinum non funziona i cheat? Non lo sapevo. Buonasera, sono passato per un saluto veloce, figa la maglietta del tipo. Se meglio il cash motivo, sì. No! Oh no!
2, they only work on the original Black Label European release, not the Greatest Hits
Io ho
Platinum
quella
release, which I
etichetta
have
nera.
here.
È l'unico Crash PS1 che ho con etichetta nera. Beh. No, mi stavo sì, però non mi garba.
If you have
Non mi garba. Io ora non ce l'ho più. Dai, sono cose di valore ormai.
They only work on the original Black Label European release, not the Greatest Hits Platinum release, which I have here. And now I don't. If you have any other
And now I don't.
copy of Crash Bash, American, Japanese, whatever, all of those cheat websites are as useful to you as an arse with a smaller arse on it. Do you want to unlock the
Un culo con un altro culo sopra.
Dante's Dash minigame? Collect 27 trophies. And how do we do that? By beating every level in the game. Gee, thanks for the cheats game facts. I sure hope nobody misreads the Q in your website name. By the way, did I ever tell you I got my stationery from Penn Island? Fair enough, I guess you could use emulate name. By the way, did I ever tell you I got my stationery from Penn Island?
Cosa vuol dire? Ah, Penis. Penisland. Penn Island, Penisland. Con la penna che fa con le palline. Bellissimo.
We do that by beating every level in the game. Gee, thanks for the cheats game facts. I sure hope nobody misreads the Q in your website name. By the way, did I ever tell you I got my stationery from Penn Island? Fair enough, I guess you could use emulation, but first of all, when this game came out,
GameFAQs sembra GameFAQs, è vero. È vero, bruttissimo.
it wasn't very common or easy. Even if it was possible, getting it to work with local multiplayer would be even more difficult, and emulation or not, it's still not an excuse to me because this was how the game was originally made, designed, and sold on the shelves. So in short, the only ways to enjoy this multiplayer party game immediately as a multiplayer party game, you either force yourself to enjoy just playing 4 variations of 4 minigames, get a region-compatible console and then the original European Black Label release to cheat, or you hate yourself. And I'm privy to a little bit of hating myself, so that's what I'm doing. I'd rather do that than admit I'm a European. Alright then, here we go again.
Aspetta, scusate.
I'd rather do that than admit I'm a European. Alright then.
Perché preferisco fare questo che ammettere di essere europeo perché è inglese? Vabbè.
Here we go again. Lovely to see you. Crash Basham. You know, it's been so long, I forgot that it even warns you on the front about it.
Ma poi ora ho saputo che... Cioè, ho saputo, che vogliano fare una specie di Brexit, cioè vogliono fare di nuovo pace con l'Europa. Non lo so.
its stress level and how it will affect you.
Non sono
3
formato.
plus fingernails that will fall off. You've got to love this text here with the quotes as well. Available winter 2001. Yeah,
Uscito nel 2009,
it's
nel 99.
available winter 2001. Your flight will be leaving at 1:30. I love you forever. Wanna bash
No, non ho capito questa battuta, scusate. Quindi potremmo andare a Londra senza passaporto. Boh, per ora ci vuole. Comunica Pietta che si lascia e si mette insieme. La versione giapponese ha 9 personaggi giocabili e c'è anche finto che sono. Non ho capito questa battuta.
level and how it will affect you. 3 plus fingernails that will fall off.
Poi c'era la demo di Spiro, mi pare.
You've got to love this text here with the quotes as well. Available winter 2001. Yeah, it's available winter 2001. Your flight will be leaving at 1:30. I love you forever. Wanna bash with crap?
Vabbè, perché? Non ho cioè, sì, la battuta sulle torri gemelle, sì, però... Non l'ho capita. Perché il tuo volo... Vabbè, poteva evitare, forse. Un po' virgolettato.
Think about it, but now that you mention it. Part 1. The first part. The game opens up with the sound you hear when it's more than a fart.
Ah, ma perché era fra virgolette? Ah, è vero, è fra virgolette. Available, come per dire non è vero. Sì, però dal momento che c'è di mezzo il 2001 avrei evitato ogni fraintendimento. Tra l'altro dice il tuo volo anche, vabbè.
Crash? Well, I didn't really think about it, but now that you mention it. Part 1. The first part. The game opens up with the sound you hear when it's more than a fart.
Parte 1, la prima parte.
Sony Computer Entertainment Europe presents a Universal Interactive Studios production.
Is this voiceover very unfitting for a party game about an orange rap? Surprisingly, no it isn't. Alright, time to create my save file. My name is
Io un po' in tempo a stare dietro, però.
Studios production.
Is this voiceover very unfitting for a party game about an orange rap? Surprisingly, no it isn't. Alright, time to create my save file. My name is Tramp, and for this game I usually pick Tiny as my main because he's actually quite big, and that's funny, but for the sake of being different, I'll pick Koala Kong. Partly because he has the same stats as Tiny, and partly because I've never seen anybody so proudly celebrate standing in their own urine.
Kong wins.
Here we have the opening cutscene, and the story is about good and evil and... So, when do you start to play? Well, if you stop being so impatient, I'll tell you. Even the...
Cosa?
Oh, when do you start to play? Well, if you stop being so impatient, I'll tell...
Bellissimo. Come si gioca? Se smetti di essere così impaziente te lo dico. Questo è il manuale.
You. Even the damn manual is hell-bent on not giving you anything. You exist to be read for information. Why are you keeping me from the information? Do I have to unlock it in the game? Do I have to unlock the rest of the book in the game? So in order to illustrate to you just how bad this
Vedo un manuale di gioco da 8 anni, però se prendi Astrobot ci sarà il posterino. Incredibile.
Game is for unlocking everything, I figured it would make sense to walk you through the adventure step by step with me so I can explain it and you can experience secondhand embarrassment over the fact that I'm doing this and I turned 30 this year. Minigame 1 is Crash Ball. Basically, the adventure step by step with me so I can explain it and you can experience secondhand embarrassment over the fact that I'm doing this and I turned 30 this year. Minigame
si imbarazza perché ha 30
1 is
anni.
Crash Ball. Basically, it's four-way Pong, and you can kick the balls back with the pink box button. As soon as I began, the very first thing that happened in the entire game for me was this.
Facessi 1-0 play su Crash Bash non lo spiegherei mai nessun gioco. È strano come qui fa 100 spettatori su YouTube 250. Quando lo dico io che Twitch ormai.
Now, believe it or not, in hindsight, that was the worst part of the game for me, because it was the very first thing I saw, and it lulled me into a false sense of hope that the rest of the game would be like that. The minigame itself is fun enough, and within only a couple of minutes, we've won our first match.
Kong wins.
And then we have to do it again.
And again.
But I won.
Okay, right, here's how it goes. For every minigame, all of them that you're about to see, in order to get the basic trophy to beat it, and in the case of the locked minigames, unlock them for multiplayer, you have to win the minigame 3 times in that session. You don't have to do it in a row, but you have to do it 3 times every time. And even though this is just the first minigame, you feel that sting as soon as you win the second round and realize how much time it actually took you to win both of those rounds and then have to go through it all again for a third. And
Sì, che poi se uno vince, quindi sei tipo a 2-1, ne devi fare un quarto e così via finché uno non arriva a 3. Chi l'ha pensata sta cosa? Cash Bash in inglese non ha lo stesso effetto di la squadra 1 vince sotto. Prima ho giocato a Dog's Life, mai giocato.
God forbid you lose an attempt and have to throw another attempt in there to waste more of your time.
I've also just noticed, what is that ridiculous dark chocolate shard sticking out of Kong's head? Is that supposed to be hair? Hi. What's that? My pet bear finally came back from Vietnam? He was a little late to the fighting. Yep, sounds like him. Classic bear. Oh no, he didn't come back unharmed? What do you mean he's got shrapnel stuck in his head? But I'm looking at him right now. That can't be shrapnel. Shrapnel isn't the same shape as a kite.
No, non sto capendo. No! No!
Hello, I'm Spots! Yes, you are. How are you doing? Well, I don't care. I've hit the big time now. Look, I've landed a sponsor with North Face.
No.
Spons, that's not North Face. But how will I have money? Well, luckily enough, I already had a sponsor lined up for you. And this video has been sponsored by War Thunder. I don't want them. What? I want North Face. You can't have North Face. War Thunder aren't as cool as North Face. I don't care what you think. I had to pull a lot of strings to get this, and you're going to like it. No amount of money could make me do it.
War Thunder is one of the deepest and most immersive vehicle combat games ever made, giving you access to over 2,500
To like it. No amount of
Nessuna
money could
quantità
make
di
me
soldi
do
me
it.
lo farà fare.
War Thunder is one of the deepest and
Beh,
most
schippiamo,
immersive vehicle
schippiamo.
combat games ever made, giving you
Mi
access to
interessa,
over
mi interessa.
2,500 sponsor and
Cosa?
for free. How box for free? Yes, you heard me. All of that great stuff I just showed you for free. How could they do this? They must have shell shock. Thank you once again to War Thunder for the sponsor and
I would have killed to have that sponsor. Can't believe the attitude on him. Bloody millennials.
The minigame after this is
Cosa?
Polar Panic, another decent minigame where you each have to waddle around on the backs of polar bears while you press
Sponsor un millennial.
square to give everybody directions to the tour of the Ocean Gate submarine. It's very simple shit, but at least there's a drone in there spitting power-ups at you to keep things interesting. You can be big, you can be small, you can be electrocuted on the ice! Or my favourite one, you can be flattened by a collection of 500 irritable bowel syndromes. Win 3 times and on to the next level.
Carl wins.
At this point, I was having a decent... Win 3 times and on to the next level.
Carl wins.
At this point, I was having a decent enough time. Yeah, you know, on level 2. Pretty low bar, and I was ready for whatever could possibly be next, especially with the back of the box promising I could shove your enemies off the edge into the abyss, smack them, kick them, blow them up, and win, win, win! Well, this is boring. Then on to
Sì,
minigame
1 ora e 40 è troppo, sì, infatti ora è qualche anno fa sti video lunghissimi, ma sono troppo lunghi. Cioè, poi capisco, li fa lunghi così, ne fa uno ogni tanto e li dura per diversi mesi, perché un video lungo la gente te lo guarda in più pezzi e quindi ti conta più visite. È un modo furbo, funziona, YouTube funziona così, però video così di 1 ora e 40, cioè... E ne ho fatti anche di più lunghi, figurati. Questo livello però era carino, sì, è il migliore. Vabbè.
or Jungle Bash, which I personally feel right at home in, seeing as it's been a very long time since I've played this game, and yet I was
Montare un video del genere ci vuole un mese tutto.
easily able to
In Italia non funzionerebbe. Non lo so, non lo fa nessuno, perché poi ha anche un bacino di utenza molto più grande lui. Poi in realtà Caddicarus per i numeri che fa, 1 milione solo di iscritti è poco, eh. Quindi Caddicarus è famoso, è conosciuto, ma in realtà è molto di nicchia, perché, cioè, 1 milione non sono tanti, 1 milione di iscritti, capito? Per quello che fa. Ha visto che Indiana Jones è un leak verrà rilasciato su PS5? Sì. Vedremo, spero. Secondo me sono perfetti, se facete troppi video verrebbe... No, è vero anche questo, quindi è una buona via di mezzo, però non lo so. Sabaku fa video 1 ora e passa. Sì, però non sono video così.
Blow up Dingodile and crash with the same box to kill them at the same time, and the game was not
Domani live sulla Gamescom alle 8 di sera, quindi inizierò verso 7:30 o un quarto
expecting me
all'ora.
to do something so great because Dingodile didn't even fall down when he lost all his health and looked right at me as if to say, how the hell did you do that, before suddenly dying. After all 3 wins of 4 minigames, you have all 4 trophies you need for the first boss fight against Papu, everybody's favorite pregnant tribalman. And like in every other appearance he's ever had in any Crash game, he's very easy and doesn't bother moving. Yes, I know that in Crash Team Racing he does move, but that doesn't count because he's driving in a cart, which means he's sitting down. My point is, he's a lazy piece of shit.
Before you can continue, you must first meet an old friend.
Okay, so we've made it through the first warp room and the first 1/7 of
Ciccio Gamer a 3,7 milioni e fa video da circa 10.000. Minchia, 3,7 milioni. Preferisco come fa Scott the Wods, circa 2 video al mese di 15 minuti. Sì, anche secondo me un'ora e mezza è troppo. Fagli di un'ora, 50 minuti, un'ora, ma un'ora e mezza è troppo. Cioè, io ultimamente non li guardo neanche più i suoi video perché sono troppo lunghi. Grazie mille Stono. Ti interessa Black Mickey Wukong? Meno della lebbra.
games, and it only took
Non mi interessa.
19 minutes. Granted, if you remove all of the replays I had to do to win each of the games 3 times, then 12 minutes of that was just replaying the same things over and over again. But overall, this was pretty fun and welcoming. Like a nice grandma. On to Warp Room 2, and we have Pong again. But it's different this time, I promise, because you have a magnet and it's all brown. After that is the polar bears again, but it's different this time, I promise, because the platform tilts. After that is the pogo sticks again, but it's different this time, I promise, because you don't have score boxes to bank your coloured tiles anymore, and you have to make a square instead. After that is the fighting arena again. But it's different this time, I promise. Yeah, I'm sorry, this is already ridiculous. Not only are we replaying the same minigames from Warp Room 1, but with minimal changes, and winning them all another 3 times each, but these are all of the minigames available to you at the start of the game in multiplayer mode anyway. So if you and your friends played that mode first, got sick of all of these minigames, and then thought, hey, I'm going to do adventure mode to try unlocking the rest, and then got to this point of the adventure mode, this is where your fight or flight would kick in. And I know what mine is doing. I mean, just look at this for the battle technique section of the manual. To get you on your way, here
Che musica era quella lì? Mi sono perso Nintendo Museum. Pazienza, non me lo ricordavo neanche più. Joker incredibile quando abbia perso, sia ormai morto come YouTuber, che abbia poco meno di 2.000 iscritti, si vede fa 5.000 viste. So. Ragazzi, quando io dico che io non ho mai voluto spingere su YouTube negli anni, la gente mi prende per pazzo. Anche oggi si parlava nel gruppo Telegram, se te anni fa avessi spinto ora saresti come YouTube. No, non è detto. Molto probabilmente se io fossi esploso anni fa, ora sarei a quel livello lì, con un canale grosso che nessuno mi guarda più. Calma. Tanto lo so.
Just look at this for the battle technique section of the manual. To get you on your way, here are the basic objectives and controls for the first few arenas. Yeah, I know what you're doing. How about we reword that? To get you on your way, here are the controls for basically the only games we have. Sorry.
Cosa?
Luckily though, after our 20th replay of the same original 4 base minigames, we are finally treated to our first brand new game mode and 5th minigame type overall, Tank Wars. This is Desert Fox, a game...
Sì, dipende anche dalla capacità di aggiornarsi e capire come adattare il proprio contenuto. Sì, Però sono dell'idea che, soprattutto nella nicchia dei videogiochi, se esplodi troppo, poi ti spengi per forza. È una cosa che ho sempre pensato, sono sempre stato convinto. E sì. Per questo io ho smesso di fare le parodie, ragazzi. Cioè, io avevo fatto le parodie da milioni di visite. Potevo tranquillamente continuare a fare le parodie. Perché ne ho smesso? Cioè, oh, come ti pare? L'ho fatta qualcun'altra, però non ci ho voluto spingere perché mi faceva paura questa cosa che le parodie andavano troppo bene. Perché poi sarei diventato quello delle parodie e tempo un anno, 2 anni sparivo. E non è che mi potevo reinventare a quel punto lì come quello che faceva Crash. No, in realtà Crash l'avevo già fatto prima. Sarebbe diventata una cosa troppo stridente. Sì, appunto, come dicevo anche oggi, quello che effettivamente avrei dovuto fare, però non ho fatto per vari motivi, avrei dovuto spingere di più sugli zero play, quello è vero. Però per un motivo o per un altro ne ho sempre fatti pochi, ma quello, boh, ci sono stati tanti motivi. Quello è vero. Però non sui video di altro tipo, insomma. Avresti guadagnato tanti bei soldi per 3-4 anni. Ma poi... Il canale creativo in generale, poi bei soldi quanto, non ti crede, eh. Il canale creativo in generale era piuttosto interessante, sì, però non per camparci. Non so se hai già affrontato l'argomento, scusami se esco un po' dall'argomento, ma che dici degli scarpe che rivendono le DualSense a 150 euro, 180, che truffa, legalizzata no? Non è truffa legalizzata, è che chi li compra, se te compri un controller a 180 euro sei scemo, è tutto lì. Cioè dici lo voglio, ho capito se lo vuoi, ma è 180 euro un pad, sei scemo, dai, su.
Of moving on a grid, changing your aim with the shoulder buttons, firing at each other, and using mines to cause damage across rows and columns. And yes, we have to win another 3 times again to get the trophy and unlock it for the multiplayer, but it's not all that bad. We only have another 11 minigames left to unlock. Sure, it took us just under 44 minutes and 15 seconds to reach this minigame and beat it to unlock it, but we are well on our way, I'm sure. On to the second warp room boss we go, and... Oh.
Mamma mia, è vero, c'erano anche tutte le mamma mia, i cristalli.
Oh.
Non ci posso credere,
Oh.
che schifo.
Oh.
Aspetto che Sony riaprirà le scorte contro... Speriamo. Secondo me un 200-300 mila euro in 4 anni ci può rifare se sia successo. Sì, però dipende, secondo me... Boh. No, non con le parodie, nemmeno con video creativi. Cioè, video creativi erano un modo per poi avere contatti e fare altre cose per lavoro, quello sì. Però, cioè, poi io quando mi sono messo a fare video su videogiochi, a me mi piace fare video su videogiochi, parlare di videogiochi. E a me piace intrattenere con i videogiochi, capito? È quello che mi piace fare. E bisogna che continui così, piano piano, senza...
Here's the deal, you don't only have to get trophies in order to unlock the rest of the adventure mode and therefore the rest of the games for multiplayer, because Cram Bam also has gems and crystals and therefore the rest of the games for multiplayer, because Cram Bam...
Bellissimo. Ho sentito che potrebbe arrivare Forza Horizon su PS5, sì, non credo mai, l'ho sentito anch'io, non lo so, non credo.
Also has gems and crystals to get for each minigame on top of them. And this is where it all starts getting...
Sarebbe molto strano se Forza arrivasse su PlayStation. Se Forza arriva su PlayStation vuol dire che Xbox definitivamente chiude, cioè nel senso che loro non faranno un altro Xbox e continueranno a fare Game Pass e le robe multipiattaforma. Cioè, o Halo o Forza su PS5 vuol dire questo, non si scappa. Quindi...
little twatty, because you're not only replaying the same mini games again, but you're also replaying them with added impairments that do nothing to the mini games except debilitate you and no other players. For the gems, most of the time it's the exact same mini game again, but you have less time to win, or less health points, or more points than everybody else to subtract down to 0 to end the game, and that can come with its own problems. But then the crystals swing its massive wang around the corner and give you the same mini game once again, but this time with an added hazard or one new stipulation that deliberately handicaps you and nobody else. In fairness, these challenges only require you to finish them one time and then it's over, but either way, it's still asking you to replay the same minigame again, which is likely already a variation of the same game from earlier that you already beat 3 times to get the trophy in the first place, and it's 10 times harder. But just humor me for a second and put all of that to one side. I'll go into more depth later so you can truly understand how much of a baffling problem this all is, but for now, let's just keep looking at all of the base minigames up until the final boss, ignoring all of the unlock requirements. Boss 2 is the Bearminator, a name in reference to the 1984 film The Terminator, which is named as such for it is about a villain that can terminate, so therefore the reference doesn't work since bearminating isn't a thing. The next minigame is more Pong, except this time you find force fields.
I fan di Xbox diranno, allora Sony ci deve dare Gran Turismo su Xbox. Capito, è logica proprio. È già arrivato Sea of Thieves sulla PlayStation, ma c'è qualcuno lo gioca a Sea of Thieves? Sono appena tornato allo showcase del museo, molto carino, bene o male. Ma dov'è? A Tokyo sto museo? Comprare una Series X solo per Halo? No, io non ho problemi. Non ha senso. Cioè, sì, per Halo, vabbè, per Halo. Gears, è vero, c'è Gears nuovo, è vero. Io, vediamo, se davvero Forza viene su PlayStation... Domanda, stavo pensando di buttarmi sull'impresa di platina CTR, secondo te è fattibile? Sì, è fattibile, è fattibilissimo. Il museo sta a Kyoto vicino a sede Nintendo, ok. Kyoto, poi c'è Kyoto, Tokyo. Come se c'è Ponte d'Era e Dera Ponte. Ok.
That push the balls away for a bit, and every so often Engine appears after drinking too much engine and starts spitting everywhere randomly in order to be more relatable to the youth. Minigame 11 is Melt Panic. More polar bears, except now the stage shrinks gradually.
Oh no.
It's new.
After this is even more pogo sticks, with the only difference
Ah, ho capito.
being Ripperoo, leaving TNT boxes all over the place to stun you if you're anywhere near them. And after this is Snow Bash, which is even more box throwing fighting, but pogo sticks, with the only difference being Ripperoo, leaving TNT more box throwing fighting, but now on slippery ice and with a penguin that does a really good impression of Hurricane Katrina, except nobody died. What's that? Avoid waking the penguin? That's really good advice. It'll just make the match harder for everyone if we do that, so I'll make sure to... Oh, of course you're gonna do it on purpose, because you're a bloody virgin! Next minigame is another tank game, but this time the stage changes layout sometimes, making the row and column mines useless since you have no idea what the stage is going to do next, and I like that. It's my favourite part of the whole game. And then finally, at minigame 15, we have our 6th different type of original new minigame, Crash Dash. A Micro Machine-styled race going around in a circle with a boost gauge and missile power-ups to stop everyone else from going around in a circle. This one isn't too bad, but the power-ups and other races are there to just distract you from remembering that all you're doing is going around in a circle. Then at the end of Warp Room 3 is a tank boss fight against the Komodo brothers in a more open arena and multiple phases of different guns to get through before finally taking them head on. It's the hardest boss so far, so much to the point that they give you a checkpoint after the gun fortress part of the fight. So does that mean the game will ease up on you from now on? Maybe. Off to Warp Room 4 and minigame 16. Pong again, but you're in the sky. Oh, it moved! Next minigame is Manic Panic. Polar bears. Oh, look, a bomb! The next minigame is Something Padlock. Can you guess what kind of padlock it is? Yes, that's right. A shed. Minigame 19 is then another box fighting one with Drain Bash so that you can bash crash.
L'ambientazione erano belline. Da te sta iniziando a fare fresco, sì, meno male. Oggi, poi dicevo era tornare card, quindi Drain Bash,
Crash Bash for the PlayStation 1. After that is even more tank battles, but now with free moving analog controls in an open arena with a podium in the center. It's all the same shit, honestly, but now you have to be extra careful to watch out for the only known weakness of tanks. A wooden face. Then after this we have Toxic Dash, the exact same circle race as Dot Dash, but now with explosive barrels and a gooey man that gets in the way and then throws his kids at you. Oh my crump, it's minigame 22, and finally another new original minigame type. Ring ding ding ring rang dug dong. A game where you have to run around in a clock tower popping balloons of your own colour while hitting black balloons and crates for different power-ups to help you further pop your own balloons. And then to cap the whole adventure off is the final boss fight against Nitrous Oxide, a 2-phase fight where you start by following him awkwardly silently through space.
Vaya.
And then end with Another game of Pong.
No,
Screw you. What is
davvero,
this?
non
What?
guardavo più.
How are you? What? How are you this good? How is anybody supposed to do this?
You fail.
Ah,
Okay, great. We rolled the
Listen.
credits. We finished the adventure mode.
No.
And after you beat the final boss, the rest
No.
of the multiplayer games all unlock
ma
for you
cosa
on
sono
the
sti
main
sacchetti? Scusami, l'ho visti ora, Sono sempre di più. Qualche gag in caricamento.
menu. Which makes sense when I say that.
Campione
doesn't
Pokémon
it?
italiano. Vedrai poi, ok. Non ho capito cosa ha detto.
We rolled the credits, we finished the adventure mode, and after you beat the final boss, the rest of the multiplayer games all unlock for you on the main menu. Which makes sense when I say that, doesn't it?
Non è vero. Non è vero.
And I know it feels like I condensed a lot of that journey, but trust me, it took a while. In fact, going back to gems and crystals, in order to fight the final boss and finish the game, you need all previous 22 trophies on top of 15 gems and 12 crystals. And assuming you don't quit any of the minigames once you start, that means you'll be seeing 2 loading screens for each of those required collectibles and bosses, one for loading in and one for loading out. The shortest loading screens for me lasted around 6 seconds, while the longest lasted around 15.
Ah, fa tutto il conto dei
Leaving us with
caricamenti.
an average of 10.5 seconds per loading screen. 22 trophies, 15 gems, 12 crystals, and 4 bosses is 53 total level entries. Times that by 2 for each loading screen you'll see per level leaves us with 106 loading screens. And timing that by 10.5 seconds leaves us with 18 minutes and 33 seconds total of you just listening to waiting for the games and bosses to begin.
Hai visto nuovi video di Silent Hill? Sì, l'ho visti, però mi sembra una merda, ragazzi. Cioè, sì, vabbè, sembra meglio di quello che si è visto l'anno scorso, però sembra una roba veramente vecchia, sto Silent Hill 2, Sì, sembra meglio, ma è sempre una roba che... Cioè, non sembra una roba del 2024. Quello che camminava così, col legno, sì. Ho detto, sembra una remaster di un gioco del 2008. Resident Evil, sì, Resident Evil è fatto bene. No, movimenti così, Resident Evil, via. Prima è apparsa una pubblicità, ma in banner. Ah, ok. Io ho disattivato le pubblicità su Twitch, basta, perché ce n'è troppe, le ho levate. Quindi io non guadagno più nulla da Twitch se non dagli abbonamenti.
Begin and end.
Già sono dulire. Cosa?
I'm the cool teacher. You can tell I'm cool because my cap is on the wrong way.
Perché?
So, you decided to call the principal a whore?
Now, I decided to go for all 22 trophies, gems, and crystals before the final boss, which is admittedly my
sono
own
perso.
fault. So because of that, I'm gonna go easy on Crash Bash, and I'm going to be charitable. I love being charitable. Charity's great. Starving kids? Love them. Thumbs up. So just for the sake of fairness, if I took all of the footage I recorded for this game and arranged all of the gem and crystal challenges in order from shortest to longest, then at an absolute minimum, 20 crystal
Poi
challenges in order from shortest
va
to
in
longest.
trasparenza la cosa. Perché riflette il verde del green screen.
Absolute minimum, 22 trophies, 15
Oddio.
gems, 12 crystals, and 4 bosses. In total, took me 3 hours.
Col ditino, c'è il ditino sulla bacchetta. Nella battaglia, sì, sono overbar, lo so, nella beta. A risalve.
4 minutes and 11 seconds to do, which in and of itself is not a big problem. It's pretty short for an adventure mode. But when you consider the pogo game for a
Solo 3 ore.
second and assume that you get the trophy, gem, and crystal in all 4 variations of that same base minigame like I did, then that means out of the 5 hours, 35 minutes, and 21 seconds it took for me to get all 22 of everything and 4 bosses, 1 hour, 6 minutes, and 5 seconds of that playtime was spent playing the same base Pogo minigame, which should help you come to understand just how unnecessarily dumb and repetitive that is for the sake of unlocking all the other minigames in a minigame collection party game.
Sì, l'ironia sì, però un video così diventa palloso, almeno per quanto mi riguarda. Cioè, siamo sempre a mezz'ora, manca ancora un'ora. Cioè, cosa devi dire di Crash Bash?
Where all the minigames should already be unlocked for you to play in multiplayer at the start. Oh, sorry. I was just looking down at all of the comments telling me that I'm wrong. But I'm not wrong. I lied.
I lied.
I lied.
I lied.
I lied!
Yes. No, this is not all you have to do to unlock every minigame, because that would be a really shit video. Instead, after the final boss, you unlock another warp room with the final remaining 6 minigames that you need to get the trophies in to unlock for the multiplayer in this multiplayer party game. Strangely though, these remaining minigames, even though they are at the very end, offer the most amount of variety and least repeating ideas in any of the warp rooms too. Yes, level 23 is another circle race, but underwater on an oxygen-breathing poser fish. Level 26 is more tanks, but on the water. And level 28 is yet another circle race, but fire. However, you also get level 24, drag and drop, a frantic rush around of 4 players trying to grab one of 2 gems and then throw them at a moving target while standing in a specific scoring zone. And eventually a 3rd gem appears, but by that point, I mean, who cares? Level 25, mallet mash, where you walk around stunning opponents, smashing mushrooms and getting more points by hitting them just before they explode. And level 27, keg kaboom, which even though new, is sadly one of the worst minigames since it's just a walking simulator. And I don't mean one of those games where you just walk around and sad men read letters to you in a smelly cave. I mean, it's literally a walking simulator. Walking the video game. Walk around with fire following you.
Cosa c'era scritto?
A walking simulator. Walking
It made me tired.
the video game. Walk around with fire following you and hope that barrels appear to give you points. So yes, sadly there is incentive to get this far in the adventure mode, because out of the 10 total minigame styles, 3 of them are unlocked in the final warp room. But it's fine, surely, because as I mentioned earlier, I was collecting all the gems and crystals in every stage as I was going along to prepare myself for the final unlocks. So now I have all 22 of everything, and nothing should be unavailable to me.
Oh no. Oh no. 21 reliche d'oro. Ma loro d'estate vanno al mare col giacchetto? Non può essere. Cosa c'è scritto dietro? Simply the best, lovely, jubbly. Pirate Golf. Coca-Cola. Ma lui di dov'è lui, Non si è mai capito dove... Cioè, questo sembra Brighton. Domani la Gamescom, sì. Cosa? Sì, britannico, ma... cioè, non è di Londra. Non è di Cosa?
Hey, what was that for?
This is where I look at your broken leg, rip the cast off, and step on it. Yes, trophies, gems, and
Sì, la brutta copia qua, guarda quando... Via, stiamo
crystals
zitti.
are not the only things you need to get to unlock all of the levels for multiplayer. You also need to get gold relics. And how do you get them? Oh, you know, by playing the same games you just played all over again, but winning them another 2 times. And not only that, but you have to win them against the hardest AI opponents in the whole game. The ones they call the arena champions, who are tuned to a nanoseconds worth of coded perfection, with their main and only objective being to maim you, desecrate your pulp of a corpse, and then exorcise your ghost from even having a fraction of a chance to come back and ask them why. This isn't an exaggeration either. The gem and crystal handicaps are one thing. Ah, look at you having a nice time on that swing. You're really good at it. Ha! Now you got no arms. Try doing it now, idiot. But the relic challenges are probably the closest evidence we have to there being a higher power that doesn't love you. In every single minigame, they are not only close to unbeatable and know exactly what directions you're going to move, what action
Poi fa un video di un'ora, a parte il video dura 1 ora e 37, ma sono d'accordo che è troppo lungo, però... cioè, non lo guarda.
perform, how to drive perfectly, and how to aim perfectly, but they also cheat. And I am not making that up.
In the crate and tank levels, the stats on damage given and taken is altered between levels and challenges. Runner Poll made a spreadsheet compiling the information for them all. After a quick glance, it's clear to see the devs were feeling particularly cruel on some of these changes.
In the Polar Bear stages, they get a power boost to their charges against you, including the weakest charging characters like Dingodile. In the Swamp Tank game, they can activate their shields more often than you. In the regular tank game, they can twist their gun turret 180 degrees in the blink of an eye, while you're stuck with... In the games that involve walking around, everybody seems to be able to walk fast.
Comunque c'è già 1 milione di visite, in quasi 1 milione in una settimana. Boia.
faster than you. Does everything in this footage look normal to you right now? Well, yes, it is. Until you look at the health, they have 0 health, and yet they can still play. They're not dead, you're just crazy. Crash Bash is the only game on the PS1 that gaslights you. Do you like the idea of a force field to save your goal from balls? Tough shit if you like that, because you can never have them. The microsecond they appear, the computer players get it immediately. Do you want to know why? Because they are a computer player programmed into a computer game that had to be programmed in a computer. They are literally designed to win, and every single randomly generated element.
Infatti io mi ricordo che mi bloccai a Crash Bash proprio nel mondo finale, non riuscii a completare tutto del mondo finale perché era impossibile. Forse proprio le prove delle reliquie erano impossibili. Mettiti a fare video in inglese anche, guarda, vorrei, solo che io non ho padronanza della lingua, così. Sembra Brighton, sì, cioè a Brighton c'è tutta quell'idoli litorale. Non mi fanno impazzire. Sì, okay. Io Caddicarus lo seguo da più di 10 anni. Ho visto il video di AI di che sì. Mi pare arrivare al quinto piano.
Of every stage means nothing to them because they know what the randomly generated element is going to do down to the line of code they were birthed from.
Oh, I like birth!
Oh no. I thought you were gone.
I was, but I came back because I want more money!
Spons, you can't have North Face. Besides, we cannot have another sponsor. I don't even think that's legal.
That's never stopped me before, but don't worry, this isn't a sponsor. I stole some DNA from your socks and now I'm selling all of your clones.
Why does it look like a loaf of bread?
Gut him.
I'm not a square.
Gut him.
What do you mean, gut him?
Sì, bellissimo.
The last time I turned myself inside out, I was not this woolly.
Okay, everybody, I'm sorry to interrupt the video again, but I promise you it's only for one last time, and I also promise you that this is worth it, because the lovely...
Sì, sul Game Pass la trilogy in successione. Strano, ma guarda un po', la trilogy è un successone sul Game Pass, chi l'avrebbe mai detto? 4 anni senza giochi. Che...
Folks at Juniper, who helped me bring you the talking Spons plush, have worked with me yet again to help bring...
Spero che questo, spero che da qui in avanti si siano resi conto e che inizino a cacare i giochi a ritmo incredibile, perché è l'unica cosa da fare. Cioè, un gioco all'anno di Crash, spero che succeda. Quali altre prove vuoi?
Bring you the brand new exclusive 2-in-1 Caddy Sleeps plush and giant blanket hoodie at Caddicarus.com. You won't see anything like those. Have to really
boring.
If I was going to do anything like plush of him for months, but that's
boring.
If I was going to do anything like that, I wanted to make it truly special and unique. And since this cool, the hoodie itself is one size fits all. It's super 79 or 60.
Poi d'estate vendi sta roba qui, vendi da autunno. Cosa? $79?
Shipping world. The inside out little me is sitting right on your groin. Sadly, this is only available for an extremely limited time. So if you're interested, head to the merch on forever.
And these are available. Will be gone. I mean, look at.
Basta. Ecco.
They're all made from my skin. I'm very warm. What was I saying about Crash Bash?
And by the way, you know how I said you have to win these twice to get the relic? And in the trophy stages, you can lose as many times as you like, so long as you end up winning 3 times before...
Un gioco del 2017 continua a battere record. Qualsiasi altro franchise avrebbe generato un gioco nuovo ogni 2 anni o anche meno. Sì, dillo a loro, fermi da... E poi non si può nemmeno dire fermi, perché alla fine 2021 on the run, 2022 niente, 2023 Crash... come si chiama? Crash Team Rumble, quindi... Non si può nemmeno dire che non abbiano fatto nulla, però non avete fatto certe cose giuste.
Or anybody else does? Well, on the relic challenges, you have to win.
Io ci voglio credere in Crash 5, prima o poi arriverà, però il problema è...
Winning 3 times before anybody else does? Well, on the relic challenges, you have to win twice in a row. If you win once and then lose, you have to start your winning streak all over again and win twice in a row all over again. Excuse me. By the way, if you want to get all 28 trophies to unlock every minigame for multiplayer in this multiplayer party game, You need to beat all 4 bosses and grab a total of 25 gems, 23 crystals, and 21 gold relics on top of the 28 trophies. 21 out of 28 total minigames need to be won twice in a row against the super-powered godlike reflex cheating AI to unlock every game for multiplayer, which is the only reason you'd ever pick this game up to begin with. Considering 16 of the total 28 games are basically the same thing as well, how many times do you think you'll be playing Pog? And also, tying counts as a failure, so if you tie on your second attempt after winning the first one, you don't get a chance to go for the second attempt again. You just start all over to try and win twice in a row all over again. Why is there even a 5th warp room after the credits roll when there isn't a 5th boss at the end of it, and yet all of the levels in that warp room feature the most variety of brand new original games for multiplayer that need the most amount of grinding to unlock for no reason? I don't know. This is the same game that prints the front cover of itself next to precautions and a health warning.
This isn't even including the loading screens either. In order for you to unlock every available multiplayer party game, in this multiplayer party game, you need 28 trophies, 25 gems, 23 crystals, 21 gold relics, and 4 bosses. Which means, assuming that you go in and come out of each level only one time, that's 101 level entrances and exits, totaling to 202 load screens. Times that 202 load screens by the 10.5-second average time that they last, and that means that you'll be spending that much time of loading. How much is that? 35 minutes and 21 seconds. 35 minutes and 21 seconds of watching and listening to just to unlock all of the multiplayer games for multiplayer in this multiplayer game.
And one of the worst parts for me is that there are no bonus levels. You can't have a Crash game without bonus levels. That's like me having a Crash Bandicoot video without a Caddicarus bounce round.
No.
But this isn't a bonus platform. It's a calculator. Wait, does that mean... I knew it! It's my arch nemesis, calculator
La musica di Tarzan.
face. What are you doing here?
Why did you give me life, Jim? I know only pain.
What? You broke into my house to kidnap my children?
Why can't I die?
I should have known better than to trust a calculator. I'll get you for this, calculator face.
Please kill me. Also, 2 times 3 is 6.
I do have to address the fact that, yes, I am talking about...
Comunque guarda bello qui la luce che filtrava dalla... Cioè un bel tocco per essere un gioco PS1.
all of this...
Addirittura col cristallo, bello.
Assuming you're getting all 28 trophies, gems, crystals, and gold relics, even though technically you don't need all of them. But let's be realistic. If you've never played this game before and get to a new warp room and then see you haven't got enough of the things that you need, how are you supposed to know which gems, crystals, and gold relics are the easiest to get so you don't waste your time? How do you know how many you'll possibly need for the future warp rooms? Whatever the case, you'll never know unless you either get all of them just to be safe or waste a lot of time and potentially even more replays and loading screens trying to figure out which ones are even worth bothering to fight for. It's not good no matter what way you look at it, like an ugly baby. And going back to the crystals for a second, some of these are the absolute armpits, unshaved and unwashed. Not all of them are completely horrible, but taking that aside, they are still replays of the same games again and are all designed to be unfair. And I say it's unfair not just because of the curve.
Comunque inizia a diventare un po' noioso, Cioè dopo 40 minuti c'è ancora un'ora. Io non so se ce la fa a vederlo tutto.
Is leveled onto you and nobody else, but also because that gold relic AI I just talked about, they tend to use it in the gem and crystal challenges too. It isn't quite as ruthless, but it's still much nastier than the trophy challenges, to the point where you don't even think the game is working properly. You have to deal with whatever crippling effect you have on top of some of the worst AI ganging I've ever seen in a video game. These examples are not from the Gold Relic Arena Champion challenges. They're from the apparently slightly easier gems and crystals. Look at this attempt for the toxic dash crystal. Not only are you dealing with the fact that every time you fall off the edge you lose 80% of your speed for 5 seconds, but also with the most aggressive skanks on the PS1 that all banded together to knock me off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times in a row. There was nothing I could do. The game was Geppetto and I was the son he made who couldn't tell him no, please stop. Some of the crystal rules are completely logical, like win with couldn't tell nothing I could do. The game was Geppetto and I was the son he made who couldn't tell him no, please stop. Some of the crystal rules are completely logical, like
Madonna, ma bruttissima sta battuta. Ne varrà la pena il 2025 per il Game Pass. Graficamente è bellino Cashback, sì. Alzare la qualità dei giochi del Game Pass un bel po', il 70% dei giochi che ci sono al momento non si rifila a nessuno e sono giochi brutti. Ma a Microsoft di Garba gli interessa la quantità. Così, loro sono così. Posso mandare il video della sigla di Vito che alla fine non avevi fatto vedere. Non so se state per la sigla di Vito.
win without the ability to pick up the crates, or score the most points in one go to win. And then some of them are just nebulous guesswork, like defeat your opponents while avoiding the water perils, or are downright biblical, like beware the idol's wrath. What the hell does that mean? Is this a threat? Win with the handicap of slippy shoes? We're on ice! The crystal on Melt Panic took me 22 attempts. I failed this 21 times. You have to play the game without the ability to save yourself from falling off the edge, which is not only an essential mechanic in the polar bear stages, but the AI also charge into you harder, on top of ganging up on you like it's a school playground and you're a ginger kid. And as for the gems, most if not all of them are identical to the trophy challenges that are already close to identical to many other mini games in the adventure already, so you're essentially playing a copy of a copy, but also much harder. The gems are basically the reduced time limit challenges or the less health challenges, and in general are not as hard as the crystal challenges because they're the next difficulty up from the trophies, and there's minimal added dump on top of that. But with some of the mini games, the strict time limits and less health can actually be more of a detriment to you because of how those games are designed in the first place, and makes those gems sometimes harder to get than the supposedly extra hard crystals. Take Drain Bash. The gem for that took me 14 minutes and 20 attempts to get it right because of just how difficult it is to knock everybody else out in less than a minute. However, comparing that to the apparently harder crystal challenge, that only took me just over 4 minutes and only 3 attempts because you have way more time to make mistakes and also only
si ripete un po' troppo. Sì, io sono stanco. 20 minutini buoni poteva benissimo. Sì, cioè
worry about.
Ma infatti, cioè, sono curioso di sapere dopo come continua. È tutto così. Tutto così. Madonna.
Being careful how you open the crates. What do you mean? The crystal for Swamp Fox, 4 attempts, 3 minutes. Because it's the exact same thing as the trophy, but with harder
non mi
AI
puoi
and also being followed
fare
around by a
l'elenco
pissy
di
little
quanto ci hai
torpedo.
messo a
But
fare ogni
the gem
livello.
that only changes the time limit from 90 seconds to 40, 17 attempts, and 11 minutes. Jungle Fox Crystal, win the match, harder AI, but now the totem pole in the middle spits projectiles at you. First attempt, 1 minute. Jungle Fox Gem, cutting the time limit to win in half, 8 attempts and 6 minutes. And this isn't including the gem challenges that emit
Ma si è capito che il gioco fa schifo, non c'è bisogno che mi fai tutto l'elenco di quanto ci ha messo. Troppo sì. No, secondo me già a 45 minuti andava bene. Siamo ora a 41 minuti, ne posso più.
Lie to you. For the Ring Ding Gem Deng, the gem forces you to decrease your score to 0 before everybody else, but also starts you off with more points than everybody else, which isn't mentioned in the rules. For the Dot Dash Gem,
cioè lui vuole proprio elencare ogni cosa unfair, come si dice unfair in inglese? Vuole veramente ogni cosa che non è giusta del gioco la vuole trattare. Ma c'è bisogno.
You like the sound of winning it with 30 seconds less time than usual, but also you have to clear 2 more laps than everybody else because
vedi, ogni cosa te l'elenca, ma non c'è bisogno, si è capito che non c'è del cazzo.
That part, sorry, make sure you don't get hit by the missiles that you can't control and get juggled off multiple
times. Sì, infatti ti ho detto Caddicarus l'ho sempre seguito, però questi video lunghi così non li guardo perché sono troppo lunghi, cioè ne guardo un po', non tutti. Sono troppo lunghi.
Times in a row by everyone else that you can't control.
Unfair in inglese diciamo
more than twice, you don't have enough time to win anyway. Bye.
Because of this wildly varying, inconsistent difficulty, it took me 2 hours and 8 minutes to get all the gems and 1 hour 49 minutes to get all the crystals. When going through all 28 gems, that was a total of about 120 attempts, including the ones I did win, averaging at about 4 retries per gem on average, or 4 minutes and 30 seconds per gem average. On the crystal end, it was about 96 attempts in total, including the ones I did win, averaging at about 3 retries per average, or 3 minutes and 53 seconds per crystal on average. When it comes to the near impossible gold relics, that took me a total of 3 hours, 51 minutes and 28 seconds to get all of them. Nearly 4 hours of replaying the same 28 minigames, but winning them twice in a row against deliberately cheating near impossible AI. So, in total, that was 206 attempts to get all of those relics, including the ones I did win, averaging out at about 7 retries per stage on average, or an average of 8 minutes and 16 seconds per gold relic.
Oh, so that's why I was given a calculator. Yes, again, I know. I didn't need to get all 28 gems, crystals, and relics to unlock every game for multiplayer.
Sì, per un po' l'app di cashback in vita tua,
you'll
però
never know which are worth attempting or going for in comparison to the others until you've already spent so much time attempting each of them to begin with. So it doesn't save any time to assume that you just need all of them and go for all of them as soon as you can. Yeah, I suppose you could look it up on the internet, but then think about what you're defending. You're saying that you have to look up which games are easier or harder on the internet for a multiplayer party game, which should already have all of the multiplayer party games unlocked in the multiplayer party game. However, despite all of this, I'm gonna give Crash One Out, Bash One Out the benefit of the doubt. If I take my playthrough of all the trophies and bosses and then add them to the gem, crystal, and gold relic challenges listed in order from shortest to longest, in order for my personal playthrough to get the required 28 trophies, 4 bosses, 25 gems, 23 crystals, and 21 gold relics to unlock every possible mini game, that would have taken me an absolute minimum of 7 hours, 1 minute, and 1 second. Not to even complete the game, but to unlock all available minigames to play with your friends who likely hate you now since you spent 7 hours indoors playing Crash Bash in order to unlock everything, therefore you never want to play the game again, and the sight of another pogo stick triggers you to grab a trench coat and a shotgun. And I'm not complaining about a 7-hour adventure mode to unlock everything in a game. I'm complaining about a 7-hour adventure mode to unlock everything in a multiplayer party. There's also 7 hours of replaying slight variations of the same 10 base mini-game types, which ultimately are all mediocre at best. 7 hours of mid-tier Mario Party on your own, or 7 hours of Sonic Shuffle. Again, that 7 hours is just me being generous and organizing all my footage for the challenges from shortest to longest length. If you choose to get all
Ma
28...
più che altro non mi sarei messo ad analizzare i tempi di caricamento, la durata dei singoli livelli, non mi sarei messo a fare questo tipo di analisi.
Everything.
Se pensi Wukong non mi interessa. Io mi sa che vado a letto, sono stanco, cioè chiudo.
As you go, just to be safe. Do you want to know how...
Non ho voglia di vedere un altro mezzo, mi dispiace.
How long that took me? I'll tell you.
Manda il link alla sigla di video, non so cosa fare.
10 hours for...
Un video noioso eterno, però incredibile. Sì, il lavoro c'è, chiaro. No, ma magari l'altra metà me la vedrò, però non posso pensare di stare un altro ora live, non ho voglia, sono stanco. Ho già streamato Crash 2.
49 minutes and 10 seconds. My God. Consider once again the Pogo minigame. In my complete 10 hours, 49 minutes and 10 seconds save file, 1 hour, 24 minutes and 37 seconds of that was just replaying slight variations and challenges of the exact same Pogo game. Including victories, I attempted this basic idea 38 times. 38 matches of this knobbing Pogo stick. Don't forget either, the boss fights, they're just variations of the same minigames as well. Tanks, fighting, Polar Bear, Pong. Even they're not original. With all of the inane repetition you have to go through, you'd think that the simplest thing the game could do is repeat its own introductory cutscene into a paragraph of the manual that comes with it. But even then, I guess the writer of the book couldn't even bear to boot up the game and watch the first thing that you see, because they wrote that Aku Aku summons Tiny Tiger and Dingadal immediately because he persuaded them to fight for the good guys, but that's not what happened, because what actually happens is that Aku Aku is a basement-dwelling neckbeard who doesn't have any friends other than a brother and sister he lives with, and so begged Uga Uga to give him Tiny and Dingadal, because otherwise, wah, this isn't fair, I want a lollipop and Daddy took my Xbox away. There are a few things in life worth getting angry about. Inequality. discrimination, political corruption, and the fact that the opening cutscene of Crash Bash for the PS1 is written down wrong in its own manual. Gang!
Oh, hi, yeah, what's up?
I am going to do a big shit on you.
Yay, goody!
Sì, sì, è un video intrattenente, sì, però non ho più voglia. Cosa sta succedendo?
See everyone? Just remember that whenever you say Crash Bash is good, you are defending a scat fetishist. Stop supporting degeneracy now and donate your whole bank to www.don'tshowmeyourbrown.com. Donate today and receive our New York Times bestseller, Everybody Poops, but Not Like That.
Alanus.
And a free plug.
By the way, it's not just the 7 to 10 hours of...
Com'è? Elenius. Tutti fanno la cacca, ma non
And a
così.
free plug.
By the way, it's not just the 7 to 10 hours of repeating the same 10
Cioè, Alanus come diventa? Sì, sì, però... Mi raccomando, fa attenzione agli occhi di Caddy, ogni volta c'è l'inquadratura sul divano. Sì, ma non ce la faccio più, non ho più voglia. Vediamo la sigla di video un attimino, dai. Incredibile sigla di video stab. 4 settimane fa. Ah, ma l'avevo... Sì, l'avevo vista, sì.
Vito stabile. Scrive storie di paperi, stupisce tutti noi. Vito.
Sì, che ti aveva anche detto di levarla e te ne sei
These
fregato.
minigames of gradually harder difficulties is the
Potrebbe
problem on its own.
sbagliare lo
It's
stint time.
because
Sì,
the
prima o
minigame
poi,
challenges
sì.
themselves are mostly completely up to chance. Wanna know why? Because it's a multiplayer party game! Chance is part of the fun with this kind of game, and skill is just a bonus that'll only
Prima o
help
poi, prima o
occasionally.
poi.
You don't want to play a party game where you just steamroll everyone all of the time after a potential 10 hours of practice, but that in itself is the problem, because this is a single player mode of this kind of game that by design does have a lot of luck elements. So all of the retries you'd have to do are most of the time completely out of your control. You want to play a
Ma
game to
testono.
make you bitter? You play Mary, Kate and Crashly. Bashly. It is a joke, especially in the gem, crystal, and relic challenges when you're dealing with luck on top of AI tuned to a being not dissimilar to an angry god about to set the world on fire and doesn't even have the minimal decency to give you a fan. It's so dependent on luck, in fact, that for the PE warm-up keg kaboom, I failed 1 time trying to get the hardest difficulty gold relic. I failed 3 times trying to get the 2nd hardest crystal. I failed 1 time trying to get the 3rd hardest gem, but then I failed 2 times trying to get the easiest trophy. The first 5.5 minutes of those attempts being 1 loss and 1 tie after 1.5 minutes of nothing but walking around and hoping for the best. Tiny beat all of us by nearly 300 points on the trophy. How? I spent nearly 10 minutes trying to get the steaming trophy here, and it was nearly all dust in the wind. Look at this scenario. 2-all.
Non sto più
Including the
guardando
tie
il
that
video.
doesn't score anything. We had already played 5 rounds of walking around emptying our mother's ashes all over the floor. 7.5 minutes of this. And if Tiny won the final round, I would have had to have done it all over again. Because of the
Quanto durava?
empty won the final round.
Ah,
Trophy
7
matches can
minuti.
be no slouches. Check out my very first
Sono così tossici, Frey. Considera, io non ho mai finito Crash Bash, da quanto che è difficile. Mai. Vabbè, non ci ho più riprovato da grande, ma a parte quando si fece la live di Vito, con Vito.
attempt of Tilt Panic, level 6 of the game. Then on level 11, the 3rd polar
Ho
bear
finito,
stage,
ma
on
non
my first
platinato.
attempt, I
Vabbè.
spent just under 2 minutes losing to Tiny 3 times in a row, meaning I had to start the minigame over again. But then as soon as I restarted, I didn't only
Sì,
then
sì, secondo me Crash Bash Remake era meglio di Crash di
win
Rumble.
3 times
Per quanto Crash di Rumble aveva una buona base, però è fatto un...
in a row, but each of those rounds took me 13 seconds, 7 seconds, and 5 seconds to win. One crystal challenge you will see online group therapy sessions about is Skyballs. It sounds simple enough. You play the game like normal, but just have to avoid red balls that will end the game as soon as you touch them. However, that's not exactly accurate, because how it really works is that every ball is normal, and then every so often, at random, one of the balls kicked by another player will then turn red. So if you're preparing yourself to guard against a player's kicked ball towards you, there's every chance it will be a good ball 1 second and then fly towards you as a deadly red ball. All the while you have to try scoring against the others, all the while having to try and dodge the rogue red balls that bounce towards you that weren't even aimed at you, all the while trying to save your goal from all of the other normal balls, all the while considering that if the red ball goes into another player's goal, it doesn't count as a score. Lots of people, especially speedrunners, hate this challenge, and most of the time they don't even go for it, and it's easy to see why. But for this video, when I was dreading this challenge above most of the others, do you know how many times it took me to do this? 1.
No, non ce la faccio più, non ne posso più. Non ne posso più, cioè mi è venuta una noia, non so voi. Che poi, cioè, io sti video li guardo per queste gag qui alla fine.
Well done. No, I'm not kidding. 1 attempt,
perché?
2 minutes to...
Perché?
Well done. No, I'm not kidding. 1 attempt, 2 minutes total playtime. Is it because I've now played Rash Scratch so much that I'm just that skilled at it? No. It was pure, unfiltered, no MSG luck. I was just accidentally in the right positions at the right micro instances, and there weren't that many red ball appearances. It's all random. It doesn't matter if they're wrong or right or whatever. The point is that it doesn't matter. It's just stupid. It's just... I've been knocked off 3 times in a row. This guy. 4 times in a row!
4 times.
5 times in a row!
Ah, perché dice fucking.
6 times in a... The same thing happened on the Crystal Challenge for Pogo Padlock, where the only way to score points and paint your own tiles is by stealing them from other players. How do you steal them? By grabbing a missile power-up and hitting another player. It's luck if you are close enough to a missile power-up to grab it, luck if there's no other player that has a missile and is close enough to attack you and make you lose the missile, luck if you are able to fire it quick enough at a close enough player, luck if that player just so happens to have enough painted squares to steal, luck if a point box is even nearby for you to then bank your points when you do steal, luck if no other players paint over what you've already stolen before that moment, and luck if nobody else fires a missile at you, stealing back all of the painted tiles that you just so happen to steal, and then luck that no point box appears near them so they can bank all of those points and then make it impossible for you to catch up. Sounds like a nightmare, doesn't it? Well, do you want to know how long this took me? 3.5 minutes. 2 attempts. That's it. It's luck. At least we're getting content out of it. Oh, look, I got shot again. That's a surprise. Oh, and twice in a row. 3 times in a row! Can we go for a 4? 4 times! Is it my fault in the Space Bash Gold Relic Challenge that this Nitro crate appeared underneath my feet and caused me to lose? Is it my fault in the Splash Dash Gold Relic Challenge I nearly won twice in a row on my first try, but then on the second attempt...
Non ne posso più, scusate, c'è un'ora. Ce la faccio più. È l'una. Che sia l'unico gioco per cui ti devi impegnare per finirlo senza il competismo. Non lo so, non sto più capendo nulla, si chiude, dai. Cioè, no, magari ve lo guardate da voi, ma mi è venuta una noia. Ma poi, cioè, no, non mi interessa, sono stanco, ho fatto 2 ore di live di Crash 2, ma credevo fosse un po' più interessante. Cioè, in realtà sì, è interessante, però è anche tutto uguale. Cioè, di Crash Bash, come fa a parlare 1 ora e mezza di Crash Bash senza ripeterti, ovviamente? Deve essere fatto così che si rama. Io volevo vedere la gag dei sacchetti, ma qui c'ha l'occhi pesti.
Begin it, so don't go committing to a 2-player adventure, get a few hours in and then realize that there's that one mini game that your friend isn't any good at, otherwise they're taking you both down with their own kamikaze pong car. The biggest issue, I think, is that a lot of these things, the randomized elements, the locked-in character select, the bullshit made-up story that doesn't make any sense and contradicts itself, all of those things wouldn't be worth focusing on and wouldn't be a problem in the context of a multiplayer party game. But not in a required single player.
Le occhiali sono finte, è palese che aumentano sempre di più durante il video, penso. È trucco.
Mode that you need to do in order to unlock the only reason you would ever want to buy this game or play it in the first place. Why should you replay the same 10?
No, voglio vedere la gag dei sacchetti. Ma poi ancora calcoli!
Changes the fail count to 125, also known as 9 minutes and 22 seconds of looking at the fail screen out of 7 hours, 1 minute and
Basta. No, se trovo la gag dei sacchetti. Crash 3. No, lo so. Vado là, sempre di più. Aspetta.
What? Are you not gonna actually explain why it's bad? No, I don't care, but I appreciate the feedback though.
Madonna, ragazzi. Cioè, di sicuro è esaustivo. Però... Vado là, c'è sempre più...
So I can prove my earlier point.
Ma cos'è con la coca? Ha bisogno della coca per giocare. Devo capire cos'è sta gag. Ancora.
Minutes. You want to know how much time I spent on this pogo game and all of its variations across all collectibles? Yeah, sure. It's
Oh, I don't know.
2 hours, 39 minutes, and 30 seconds, which is already awful enough that 14.4% of my 18.5-hour playtime was spent playing the boxes, but it ticks all of those boxes.
No. No.
So long.
Grazie Cuppino. Still in China, mi perdo le live, ma mi abbono per darti Tinder, grazie.
Tick all of those boxes, but it ticks all of those boxes within the first hour of adventure mode. Completing Crash 4 is like
Aspetta, che diceva di Crash 4?
I can't enjoy Crash Bash.
Non lo trovo mai più. Eccolo qui, aspetta.
Hour of adventure mode. Completing Crash 4 is bad enough, and there are far too many revisits, but at least that one involves more things to see, more things to hear, more things to do, and, you know, skill. Yeah, you only got a 10-second jack shit cliffhanger cutscene for your troubles, but it's at least something to acknowledge your effort. Crash Bash is a lot shorter, but it isn't anywhere near Crash 4's quality. So ultimately, it doesn't matter how much shorter it is to complete. It still gives you barely any actual content, recycles...
Ma perché quando completi Crash Bash non ti dà nulla, neanche un filmato? Vediamo questo.
Like Gary...
crazy people music, and 50 minutes and 45 seconds of all for absolutely nothing. How appropriate. It's almost poetic, really.
And that is why, just like Gary Glitter's music, I can't enjoy Crash Bash anymore because Crash Bandicoot touches children. Thank you.
Mi arrivano qui le occhiaie.
Yes.
What do you mean you don't even need the Crash Bash game to basically play all of it? All you need is any demo version of Crash Bash, either from the magazine discs or from the secret code on Spyro 3's main menu. And then once the demo starts, you just need to enter one more code, and then basically the whole game is available to you immediately without ever needing to buy the full thing. And it also comes with cheat modifiers to make things easier or harder. And the Komodo brothers are replaced with Bart and Homer Simpson.
È vero.
It's not even plugged in.
Non è neanche collegato.
Whoa! Look up there, everybody. What is the... Oh my, look. It's some fan mail. I wonder what it says. Hey, Caddy. It was amazing to sit down and have an awesome one-on-one talk with you. Well, you haven't introduced yourself yet, so I don't know who you are. I've followed you on YouTube for years, getting into the early seasons until now, and whenever I see a new upload, it's always a time to sit down for more laughs and more crazy. I love it. Keep it up and keep making what inspires you. It's always a treat. Oh, well, you know what? I'm touched. That's a really lovely thing to say. It means the world to me. Thank you so much. You are lovely. So packed in here is my copy of Crash Bash. Oh, no, I take that back. You're horrible. I know. So packed... Lovely thing to say. It means the world to me. Thank you so much. You are lovely. So packed in here is my copy of Crash Bash. Oh, well, now I take that back. You're horrible. I know how much you love it, so I thought, why not let me know how much you love this game by having free reign over it? You can do whatever you want to it, just don't break it or cook it or make it unplayable.
Ma l'ha scritto lui sto cosa.
Because God forbid I might...
Non cucinarlo o renderlo giocabile.
want to play it again
L'ha
one
scritta
day,
lui, questo.
only to remember how bad it is. So I hope you have fun doing such horribly wonderful things to it, and I can't wait to see all the things that you do. I can't wait to see everything, so when I look at such a bad game, I know that mine is special and will always put a smile on my face. Thanks, dude. Hope the family and you have a wonderful time. Wish you all the best, Royce. Oh.
Royce.
So is that how it is, Royce? So I can do whatever I want to your copy of Crash.
No, è Meriana.
What? And
What?
and bits of fluff. But I can only do whatever I want to it within your specific parameters and conditions. Very specific. Sounds like a challenge, actually. But, you know, to be fair, it is your copy, so I'll honor that. And I think I know just what I would want me to do with it.
Come sono brutte le operazioni americane, mamma mia. No. Great shit. No, i baffini di Hitler. Cosa?
It's a CD case. It's got a CD in it, like an old PlayStation game.
Ah, perché in Inghilterra devi dire cosa c'è nel pacco? Ma come?
It's got a CD in it, like an old PlayStation game.
Fair enough?
Oh yeah, sure. Thank you so much. Cheers. Have a nice day.
Cosa ha detto?
Thank you so much. Cheers. Have a nice day.
I hope you enjoy whatever I have.
No, in realtà in Italia alle poste devi barrare la casa, ci dovresti scrivere cosa c'è. C'è, quando fai un pacco c'è scritto contenuto, però non importa essere specifico, per esempio ci puoi scrivere il libro. Cioè, ora non so se è lui che ha voluto essere preciso, però tipo io gli avrei detto c'è un libro. Boh, non lo so, magari sono severi, non lo so. Devi specificare, sì, però sei mai stato sincero con quello che c'è? Tipo, materiale elettronico, anche perché poi te lo fottono. Ha detto have a nice day, davvero?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much. Cheers. Have a nice day.
Ah, have a nice day, così veloce.
Thank you so much. Cheers. Have a nice day.
Have a nice day, hai ragione, è vero. Have a nice day.
I hope you enjoy whatever I have, Royce.
For legal reasons, I have to clarify that I did not send contaminated goods over to Royce. Everything was sanitized before it was shipped. I am not a bioterrorist. Please do not take legal action. Thank you. P.S. My address will be on the back of this letter for when you send it back. Everybody, docs Royce! Get your doxes here! Roll up, roll up! Get your doxes here before Royce is dead! Thanks again to War Thunder for sponsoring. Don't forget to play for free on PC, PlayStation or Xbox now by using my link in the description. Bye! Subscribe!
Ho capito, ma la gag della coca dov'è? Ho aspettato un'ora!
Play for free on PC, PlayStation or Xbox now by using my link in the description. Bye! Subscribe! Okay, someone is walking right this direction. I'm just gonna wait for them to walk past.
La gag della cocaina è la stessa degli occhi. Ma dov'è? Cioè non c'è un punto in cui esplode questa gag? Come quale gag? Ah, è una gag così? Non c'è un momento in cui lui si rende conto di avere tutti sti pacchetti? No, dai. Cioè non ha mai un climax questa gag. No. No, non mi puoi dire così. È solo una gag visiva, ma no. Ci voleva una risoluzione, cioè un momento di risoluzione ci voleva. Cioè, no, sono rimasto male. Magari uscirà la parte 2. Non la guardo, parte 2. Uscirà la serie TV. Ci mostri la tua copia di Crash Bash e ce l'ho su. E vediamo sul manuale ci sono quelle stupide scritte. Ce l'ho su, non voglio andare su e tornare giù. Se vado su vado a letto. Guarda la parte post credit.
It's not even about caring how I look. It's about having to explain to people that they're not going to smell piss when they walk past me. That's the worst bit. I don't really care that how I look.
I promise,
okay,
it's just water.
costa? Cos'è qui? Worcester? Worcester, Bromyard. C'è la gente, ecco.
Cool.
Dan, did you know Belgian chocolate is just normal chocolate but from Belgium?
Steamroll everyone all of the
Ma come non c'è la gag della coca? No, sei rimasto male, dai. Sei rimasto male. Vedi che c'è un po' di... Sì. Prima... Sì, ne aumenta sempre di più. Ho visto che eri in live e mi sono recuperato prima quella di su YouTube. Oh, grazie. Complimenti per il play, grazie. È stata una bella live breve. La vera gag della coca sono gli amici che si siamo fatti nel viaggio. Ah, ok. Gli voglio sul cappellino. Più che altro stavo notando il cappellino, che la scritta Bandicoot non è centrata perché è il logo di Crash 4 senza il 4 e quindi Bandicoot, cioè, ma si può fare una cosa così? Fai un po' vedere. Crash Bandicoot Bini, eccolo qui. Mamma mia, c'è su Amazon. Cioè, ti rendi conto quanto costa? Non si può, cioè non si clicca. Vabbè, non si può vedere, ecco, cioè la scritta Bandicoot non è centrata, perché se vai a vedere il logo di Crash 4 probabilmente è proprio quello lì, Crash Bandicoot 4 logo. Sì, non hanno preso il logo normale, hanno preso il logo di Crash 4 e ci hanno levato il 4. Però vedi, questo è il logo normale con la scritta Bandicoot centrata, vedi, inizia dalla R e finisce all'H. Questo invece è il logo di Crash 4, però vedi che la scritta Bandicoot è decentrata. E loro hanno preso questo qui, ci hanno levato il 4, tra l'altro come hanno fatto a levare il 4 senza tagliare l'H, non si sa. Probabilmente l'hanno ricostruita anche, non lo so. Boh, dov'è? Non lo so. La scritta Bandicoot è decentrata. Che schifo. Sì, ci mancava l'H tagliata, sì. Cioè, è possibile che non gli abbiano dato questo logo qui a modo? Dov'è? It's dick time. È l'ora del cazzo, vabbè. Bello questo logo qui, il logo di... Questo era un logo vero, che meno male non è mai stato usato. Oh Gesù. Questo, cioè, io non capisco. Si fa Fufu, no? Possibile che Toys for Bob manco i cappelli? No, ma non è fatto a Toys for Bob il cappello, l'ha fatto qualcuno su licenza che però hanno usato questo logo. E vabbè, che ti devo dire, è andata così. Di chi è? Di chi lo fa sto cappello? BioWorld.
One of those techniques.
Insomma,
is that
niente gag della coca. Sono rimasto male. Qual era avevi detto, dato Bugs, credo, che mi avevi detto che c'era una gag che ti ha fatto ridere 20 minuti. Qual era? Così difficile usare uno strumento Latch su Photoshop. Ma esiste il logo vero, quindi perché non usare il logo vero? Il peluche di Crash gigante c'è da comprare. Quello è un peluche degli anni 90, quindi a trovarlo è difficile, però se lo trovi, sì. Quella del disc scratch lunghissimo. Ah, sì?
dead. And now I have another one for you. Crash Bash? Oops, not actually a good game. You were lied to.
Vabbè.
In fairness, Crash Bash...
Vabbè. No, vabbè, è un bel video, sì, un po' palloso. Basta. Ci si vede domani sera qui su Twitch con la Gamescom all'8. Quindi non so se cenare prima o dopo. Quando ceno? Non ceno. A che ora è? All'8 di sera. Inizierò un quarto all'8, penso. Domani non so se ci sarò. No, come sarebbe dire? Come sarebbe dire? Come sarebbe dire? Come non sei, Vax? Come sarebbe dire? Non ho più voglia di andare a letto ora che ho levato il video. Buonanotte, niente. Tanto non annunciano la Sega, ma annunciano tutti i giochi della Sega. Della Sega. Giochi di seghe della Sega. Sega! E c'è uno che... No. Magari 7,5, sì, più o meno, dai. Cioè, io faccio partire la live, poi magari c'è un quarto d'ora di anteprima. Guardati un film, ora, magari sì, non so cosa. Io ho voglia di guardarmi Shutter Island. Però... Oh, mi guardo Fight Club. No, ora non si continua live. Sì, ma voglio guardarmi un film, magari mezzo, perché poi vado a letto. Sì, io i film li spezzo volentieri. Non so se voi lo fate, io non ho nessun problema a spezzare i film. C'è chi non lo fa perché no, sacrilegio, ma scusami. Metti un film Disney. Sì, tra l'altro ho rimesso Disney Plus. No, però voglio vedere qualcosa di... non lo so. Disney Plus... sì, c'è un botto di roba da recuperare, mamma mia. Ogni tanto li spezzo se sono troppo stanco, ma sì, cioè. Più che altro il segreto per spezzare i film è quando lo riprendi ti guardi almeno un 5 minuti prima dello spezzo, no? Che meno di 5 minuti. Però sì, i film sono spezzabili tranquillamente. Prima dava fastidio stopparlo, adesso è una cosa che io ho sempre fatto, non ho mai avuto problemi a... Cioè, poi dipende dal film, ovviamente. Poi dipende anche perché a me un film in genere se dura 2 ore me ne dura 4, quindi perché mi riguardo tutto. Io i film, se qualcuno avrà mai la disgrazia di guardare un film con me, oddio, dipende. Se io guardo film in compagnia in genere non lo faccio, però quando mi guardo i film io e il film mi garba particolarmente, io me lo mando indietro continuamente. Devo riguardare la scena, devo riguardare come hanno recitato, devo riguardare la ripresa, devo vedere con in modo è stata fatta, devo riguardarlo anche volentieri in inglese. Quindi a me non sempre, però tipo è capitato con lo squalo, me lo sono rivisto l'altra settimana, 2 settimane fa, e mi è durato 6 ore lo squalo. Però lo squalo, riguardarselo con le scene in inglese vale la pena. Domani devo svegliare presto e andare all'ospedale, perché? Cosa devi fare all'ospedale? Ora sto guardando Lost, avevo visto tutto Walking Dead su Disney Plus, cioè Walking Dead e Lost, è vero. Anche Scrubs lo dovrei rivedere, ma come fai a vedere Scrubs? Come fai? Cioè, dovrei non fa nulla, non fa nulla la mattina e la sera, guardo film. Ma si può le fa così. Vabbè, via, basta. Ufficialmente buonanotte, è stata una bella serata, tutti assieme. Scrubs dura tantissimo. Vabbè, sì, Scrubs se lo guardi un po' alla volta. Buonanotte, a domani! Dimmi, Dalovax, dimmi. Cosa vuoi? La domanda, dimmi. Oh Gesù Maria. Cosa c'è? Ti devo chiedere una cosa. Hai stoppato la fine. Cosa devo... Dimmi. Cosa devo dirmi? Non scrive. Ti volevo chiedere una cosa. Che lol che sta incazzando. Sono incazzato lo bello, sapevo che Kylol era lì. Quindi mercoledì fa in chat non lo so quando si fa in chat 4, vediamo, sì, forse mercoledì, non lo so. Dio Cristo, bisogna vedere anche com'è il clima. Su! Ah, è questo che mi hai chiesto? È questo che mi dovevi chiedere, se mercoledì si fa Uncharted? Non lo so, o mercoledì o giovedì. Io ti odio. Non so Uncharted come sarà sviluppato. Io andrò un po' come ho fatto su Twitch, cioè se una sera mi va lo faccio, capito? Perché Uncharted 4 prenderà penso almeno 5, 6, forse 7 live. Però bisognerà vedere che difficoltà scelgo, cioè vorrei fare difficile, però ho paura che farò distruttivo. Perché se si può fare distruttivo sul PS5 io farò distruttivo. E io ho paura che forse non è il caso di fare distruttivo. Che ho paura che dureranno troppo. Non lo so, stavamo dicendo, vatti a vedere il film. Ecco, musica. Buonanotte. Yeah. 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 Oh yeah. Extra Bob. Astrobot. 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 I am Astrobot.